couch when the door clicked open. My whole body had tensed, then relaxed when I realized Layla was with him. They went straight back to his room. Through the thin wall, I could hear them fooling around and then playing video games, and then fooling around again for hours. I'd lain awake for the rest of the night, listening to the pounding Mortal Kombat music and Layla's murmured, "Oh, Marcos." I would have put my headphones on, except I needed to save my batteries. But lying there, I had resolved to follow through on the scheme I'd come up with. And hearing the bird, thinking of that scheme, finally I jumped from the couch, moving decisively around the apartment one last time. I took a piece of loose leaf out of my backpack, went into the kitchen and scrawled a note, staying at Lizette's, be home on Sunday, if. I slapped the note down on the kitchen counter and grabbed one of my stepmother's Pop-Tarts, knowing that'd piss her off. Thinking better of it, I grabbed a second packet and shoved them both in my hoodie pocket, carefully returning the empty box to the cupboard. Now that would piss her off. On a roll, I went and opened the kitchen window. I took the 3 short steps back to the living room and undraped the birdcage. Tweety flapped its little wings and looked at me. I eased open the sliding gate and stuck my pointer finger in. Even though we didn't interact a whole lot, the bird seemed to sense what was happening and hopped right onto my finger. I carried the bird carefully back to the kitchen, one hand cupped around it, as though I was holding a lit candle, and I set my hand out the window. That bird didn't hesitate. It got gone. I watched it perch on the neighbor's fire escape before setting out for real and flapping down 83rd Street. "Good luck," I whispered. I had no idea if that bird would make it through the summer, if it would live to see 1993, or if it would fly south or find a new family or what. But its odds were a lot better out there than they'd ever been in here. And I was right behind it. I redraped the cage and headed to the door. They probably wouldn't even notice that cage was empty till tomorrow. I picked up my school bag and popped my skateboard under my arm. I opened the apartment door and pushed the little button by the deadbolt so that it would stay unlocked. I went into the hallway and pulled the door quietly behind me. I became lighter with each step I took, as though ropes that had held me loosened and frayed and snapped off the farther I got from that door. I jogged down the 3 flights, jumped the last few steps, holding the railing and swooping down like I've always done since I was a little kid. I was weightless. My breath was short, my heart fluttering when I burst from the service entry into the sunny morning. They, my stepbrother, Layla, my stepmother, were still asleep, I knew, but nevertheless I felt pursued, a fugitive. I dropped my board and stepped on it. Other folks were just starting to emerge into the day, the dog walkers and delivery men hustling around. I put on my headphones, holding the bright yellow Walkman in my hand as I kicked off to the opening notes of the Pixies' Where Is My Mind? I thought more about that bird as I skated the 3 blocks over to the playground to meet my friend Lizette one last time. I was getting gone too. Chapter 2. I was never going back there. Never going back. The words repeated in my head to the rhythm of the board over the lines that divided up the sidewalk squares. Never going back. Never going back. And then I crossed the street, and the rhythm shifted, and the words changed. Gotta find her. Gotta find her. Gotta find Mom. I was a little bit less of a wreck when I got to the playground. I sat on my swing and tried to get a hold of my breathing. I wondered if other people had to work so hard to try to seem normal all the time. Me and Lizette met at the swings every morning before school, eating breakfast, usually one of those individually wrapped donuts or coffee cakes from the bodega, and steeling ourselves for the day to come. 10th grade wasn't a pleasant place for either of us.